Hello YouTube, Ronin Kaze. That start, YouTube, always killing me. Well, something new today. So in my search for an MMORPG, came across this game, saw a video on it, thought I'd try it. It's called Spirit Vale. It's based on a game sort of like Ragnarok Online. But it has a lot of the features of just the basic MMORPG kind of stuff that you want. You're in the world with other people, so you'll come across them. They kind of may interfere, not interfere. Some of the newer MMOs will have like phasing where you don't fight the same mobs. This is not that. You're attacking some of the same mobs. So there's some of that stuff going on. But this game isn't even in, alpha. This is like play trial. But it's really nice to play for the things that you play an RPG for. Play an RPG to level. What you're going to see over here is I'm going to level like 1 to 9 or 1 to 10 here in a relatively short time. You get loot. The loot drops at a decent rate. It's about the right rate for loot to drop. I mainly played like a cleric kind of class. And there was no, embargo on what weapons I could play. So I ended up just always equipping the best piece of equipment and the best armor. So that made me really happy. A lot of times when you play a cleric, you got to have a club and you get to have a shield, but it's a club. So I ended up, my first character, I leveled up pretty high. So I didn't start recording till I was like level 7 because I wasn't sure. But I came back today, played the game today, and I like having a dagger. And the dagger gives you a 50% to double hit. So you can see already there's some life stealing. And so it's kind of the exact way I'd like to play. This is a one-man creator making this game. It's impressive, YouTube. Feels very polished. I don't know how long it's been. It has a website. It has a decent website. Good mechanics, a lot of different classes, interesting things in the classes. So I didn't record this part because I didn't know what I was doing, but I could play a pet summoning class, like a summoner could summon a different type of pet. And then there's all the buffs for the pet. So it's a lot of, it's not a lot, but you get to consider there's some strategy. The first character I played was a cleric. I ended up getting a shield with my whoop-de-doo dagger, and I just played that. I was unkillable for a while. Now, why did I stop playing last night? Because I got killed, YouTube. Because I just was mowing things down. I had these 3 skills. One that buffed, I'm cleric, so you're more intellect. Stop. Let me go back, YouTube. One of the things from D&D paper to D&D the game to all these RPG games, there's some type of attributes that you have. You usually have 6 attributes. See if I can name them. Strength, agility, dexterity, wisdom, charisma, and luck. You usually have. Maybe there's no charisma in this one. Maybe it's wisdom and luck. And each one of those does a different thing. Additionally, then you have skills for your class. I leveled up to level 10. I didn't spend any of my attributes into anything. I got spells that would buff myself, give me like a 10% increase in my melee stats. So this is really a magic caster, but I just played it as a melee and eventually dagger and shield, blocked everything. And then, I had a great weapon. So you see me going through part of the inventory, looking at things. And the first time I played it, I just played through. I didn't understand anything. When I say didn't understand anything, there's armor sets. You have 4 slots, basically, and then you get kind of like runes, and it's pretty simple, yet it's complex. It's really the right balance. I played other games that are coming up, and they tout themselves as like an EQ replaceable game, or maybe EverQuest 2 or an EverQuest or one of those old timies. And I played that one game, and it took so long to level that I eventually gave up and just loaded EverQuest 2 and played EverQuest 2 for a while until I stopped and said, this is why I didn't play EverQuest 2. I noticed on here there's some people up to level 150. You know, I don't think the leveling curve doesn't feel like a curve. It feels pretty linear. Leveling curve is this. So in some games, they didn't have a lot of end game. So it'd be a curve that as you got a higher level, you had to have way more XP. It wasn't a line, it was non-linear. Just a cheap way to extend the game. What I found in MMOs, and so this is what I want you to think about. When MMOs first came out, people got to the end stage. They loved the game so much, and they'd say, well, now what? And so that's where you got this rating, this harder content, and then you start cobbling on like, you know, we're going to increase the level cap to this or whatever. In reality, you're playing, the main reason you're playing an MMORPG is because you want to just level and grind. Come home from work. Heard someone else say this in MMOs. You want to come home from work or come home, level up your character, accomplish something, then be done with the game for the day. Maybe you're getting crafting materials. This game has all of that right now. I didn't get into the crafting or anything else. I had a good time. Hold on. This is when I'm going to ask you to like, subscribe, resubscribe, unsubscribe, resubscribe. If you want to buy me a cup of coffee or a Monster, please do. Anyways, back to the action. So I'm over leveling. That's another thing that I like to do in MMOs. I like to over level, which means it might take me a little bit longer. This area I'm in is 1 through 5. Maybe I get up to level 7, but I just go to the next level and I have the same experience. The game lets you flatten that out, so I just have the same experience whatever zone I'm in. And the first time I played, I didn't realize there's group mobs, and if you attack one of the group, and there's like a lieutenant in it, and they're physically bigger, right? So these visual cues are all very easy to play. So maybe the second time I went through there, I just feasted on those things. Of course, everyone's doing that. There's some classes that do way more damage than me. I've told you before, I like sword and board. I like unkillable. So what I like about the game is you can do that. And the classes are different enough. Give you a spoiler alert, YouTube. I'm in Spirit Vale. I had rolled 2 clerics. I said, let me try this summoner. I was level 1 or 2, and I had my pet. And I'm in this area you see now, and I got smoked, like, because I just don't know how to play the class. It's not that hard, but that's what's great about the game. It's not like no matter what class I have, I got to think about it. There's no death penalty. When games first came out, there's a big death penalty. You had to go do a corpse recovery. And in some games where you had no fast travel, like you had to run somewhere, and you'd have to run through some, you want to get to the level 80 area because the level 80s are taking noobs and leveling them. But on the way you're running out there, you got to get a corpse, or you don't bring any of your gear. It's just not fun. Some people were like, well, yeah, that makes the game funner with that. I just want to play the game. Fake headphones, YouTube. I just want to play the game. I'll get into it later. I'll explore, but people will have an anxiousness, anxiety. And I think I've told you about when I would do raids in World of Warcraft. Someone's expecting. I played a shaman, and they wouldn't let me heal, and I was a healer, and I had kind of the same experience in this game. I had a shaman with a shield and a one-hand weapon, and I had heals, and I had all kinds of damage over time ticks, and I love playing the game. I could just take on anything, and I would last and last and last. I could out-heal. When I got in this group in World of Warcraft, they made me elemental shaman, and I had to run around and cast spells, which I looked in this game. There is a skill that you can get that will let you run around and be able to cast and fly. So, like, It's a very mature game. A lot of times I'm looking for a game that takes all the best ideas from 2005 to now, for the last 20 years of World of Warcraft, and turn them into a good game. And it's great. Graphics are okay. There was yellow, YouTube. It was yellow at first. Lots of yellow. Ronin Kaze was like, yellow. Holy mackerel. So I really like this game. Low resources, right? I'll give you, run it on Cache. Ran it on the Legion Go. You should see the stats up on the top. That's what's going on the Legion Go. Ran great. Flawless. So I initially tried to run it because I was scared. I think I mentioned to you, the Legion Go would run out of memory. So the last time I played Division 2, I got booted. And sometimes if I start the game first and then try to do OBS, it won't load. So I started on my Asus G14. I tried to load it on my external drive in Steam. It loaded the game, then it would never work. It would never update. It'd get an error in a downloading. So there was a couple workarounds I tried to do. Eventually it didn't work. And I'm burning daylight, right, YouTube? And I tell you, I don't want to mess around. Linux, Windows, Mac is like the road. I want to drive my car. I don't care about the road. I don't want to go on a road where there's potholes. I just want to go on a road where I can get to where I'm going. That's the analogy I'm talking about, operating system. So for the most part, Linux has been just bulletproof. I like the computer part of it better than Windows because I can customize it. I make every computer the same. It's really easy. And it's different than Windows. So I eventually got this game working on the Legion Go, and it's fine. And I like this game a lot. You're going to see me die later when I take on one of those group bosses and I don't know what's going to do. And I think I had respec out of my heal, so I had no heal. Scrub YouTube. Also, another side note. I think I told you yesterday my Asus Flow X16. So I took it to somebody to try to repair it. As of the recording of this video, it's been 6 hours. They haven't called back yet. So I don't know if they're fixing it and they're doing it. Isn't it funny how we imagine? In my mind, I'm hoping he's fixing it. In his mind, it's just sitting there, hasn't moved. And he's like, yeah, I got to eat my pizza. And I sure should get to that machine. So I don't know how long I let it sit there. I have a little tolerance for that. When I looked over the specs again, it's a good enough computer that I don't need a new computer. I just need to get that computer working. But YouTube, I like this concept of this Z1 Extreme where it has shared memory and I can put memory into the graphics part of it or into the game. It just doesn't have enough. So really what that is, in AMD, that's what they call their AI, and they have like a 785 AI. And so I'm starting to look at that. It's one card does everything. It's similar to like the Mac where it shares the memory. Mac does it more dynamically. And the Mac is foreign, so I just want to play games. So till a Mac can just play games. I love you, Mac Mini, but I don't want to spend time learning wine. That's why I paid that crossover company and it didn't work. Anyways, YouTube. So I'm enamored with like getting like a 64-bit or 32-bit, and they're like, you know, not too much money. But it takes more energy. So I told you, I want to have less energy. So, and I can't get a Z2 because they're super expensive. The new Legion Go, not going to do that. So we'll have to see. But Spirit Vale, it's got everything. You'll go do it for a couple hours. It's really easy, and it's a game that I could keep going. There's different areas that you can go to, and the areas are set at, you know, at the level. So you've got to be cognizant of what level. You check the mob before you do it. And this mechanic of fighting the group mobs is, you know, so I'm more careful. So here's kind of one of the random things that makes it good and bad. The pucker factor. It's a click to move game. And it's also a big loot drop game. So it has a recipe for disaster, YouTube. Clicking to get your loot. Oh, you clicked on the group mob, weren't ready. Bam, there you go. Also here in the States, maybe tomorrow's Canadian Thanksgiving. If it is, to my Canadian family and friends, I hope you have a, whatever you guys call it. Why do you have little brother syndrome and always do everything before we do it, YouTube? Love you, Canada, but I hope you have a good Thanksgiving, if that's what you call it. And I checked out, we're going to do Thanksgiving here in the U.S. We celebrate a holiday called Thanksgiving. It's where we kind of share a feast and family comes. It kind of sets off the holiday season. If you ever heard of Black Friday, it's the Friday. So in the United States, every Thursday you have off in November for Thanksgiving, and then Friday you don't usually have work, so that's why it's Black Friday then. So, and I'm sure everyone's heard of Black Friday. Sorry if you don't know America stuff, but anyways, I'm thinking about Amazon. Everyone gets Amazon. So I hope you have a good holiday coming up. Please try out this game. It's a low load. It's quick to run. The interesting thing is it's not always available. So try it soon. There was like 70 people on the US East Coast server. And I think there was a total of 400 people on all the servers. I like it. It's a good game. Ronin Kaze. Thanks everyone again. This is Ronin Kaze out.